Welcome to Tales from Tubi.
Hey Tubi friends! Welcome to a brand new episode of Tales from Tubi. This is where my love of Tubi and my love of horror movies come together. I dig the depths of Tubi to find just the best horror movies and sometimes not the best horror movies. And over here on Old Man Brad, this is a series that I bring to you talking about some of the films that I watch, horror films that is, that I watch on Tubi. And all of the movies that I talk about here on Tales from Tubi are available at the time of recording. So if you come to this later, hopefully it is still there for you. So this episode, last week, I talked about Fender Bender. It was one that I came across. It came up in my recommendations. I love the poster. And I was like, oh, I'm going to watch this. And I mentioned that The Collector should be your double feature with Fender Bender. So I was like, you know what? It's been quite a few years since I've watched The Collector. So let's give it another watch. And after watching it, I was like, I'm going to put out a Tales from Tubi just because this is a movie, if you haven't seen it, more people need to see. Before we dive into all things The Collector, if you're in the Cincinnati area, come out to Frightful Fridays on the third Friday of the month. I am so thankful to be partnered with the Esquire Theater to bring you a horror screening each month. And our screening for February, on February 21st, is In the Mouth of Madness. This is the John Carpenter film from 1995. I'm really excited to be able to see this on the big screen again. But come out February 21st, 10 p.m., and let's watch a movie together. All right, let's dive into The Collector.
I run a smooth operation out here. I pick the jobs, you pick the lots. We pick up the prize together. That's a routine. You need me to think about that woman of yours and that little pretty girl of yours. And you've been casing that family's house for months. You think the family is going out of town. You found the safe. Now, what was that request of yours?
You settle tonight.
Desperate to repay his debt to his ex-wife, an ex-con plots a heist at his new employer's country home, unaware that a second criminal has also targeted the property and rigged it with a series of deadly traps. This is co-written and directed by Marcus Dunstan, starring Josh Stewart, Andrea Roth, Juan Fernandez, and many others. So this came out in 2009, and this was, funny story, this movie, I did not see this movie before its sequel. There's a sequel called The Collection, and then a third film, an on-again, off-again third film, which hopefully, last I heard, we should be getting it, The Collected. But I saw The Collection first. It was one of those movies back when, remember MoviePass? I had a MoviePass card. So I wanted to go to the movies and see a movie, and saw this horror movie, The Collection, and I was like, oh, this looks interesting. I want to see a horror movie. Let's go. Had no idea it was a sequel. Went in completely blind to anything of this series and really enjoyed The Collection. Finding out, partway through, I was like, wait a second. This feels like it's connected to something else. So I looked it up and I was like, oh, look, The Collector came before it. So I went and watched The Collector and went, oh, okay, this series is pretty good. I hope we get more, which, cross your fingers that we will, because the third one was starting to be filmed. 2019, they were setting up to do it. 2020, they started filming it, but then production got shut down. And then it's been in some legal battles. The director last said in an interview that They have it. They have the rights. They have everything, and they are going to begin work. So hopefully we get it. We get to see the third one soon. But back to The Collector. This is a movie that was originally, they originally pitched it as a prequel to Saw. So it's supposed to be, those early years of him, and they turned down the pitch. So they went off and decided, you know what, let's just make it our own thing, make it a movie, and see what happens. When it came out, it was pretty popular. It didn't break any box office records or anything, but it wasn't popular enough I didn't know about it before I went and saw The Collection, but that's neither here nor there. It was popular enough to warrant a sequel, a bigger budgeted sequel. Like I said, it had been many years since I rewatched this, and when I said it should be your double feature with Fender Bender, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go rewatch it. It's been a while. And rewatching this, I'll try to keep it somewhat spoiler free as I can if you haven't seen it. But I love this movie. This movie is really good. I love both of these films. There are some things, for instance, like the traps that are set up in this house. How did he set up these elaborate traps throughout the house? So as the synopsis says, this man, he's working on the house. He's working on the locks on this house. He needs to get money and realizes that this house, the people in this house have money. He knows where the safe is. He contacts the people he knows saying, I want to hit this house. I want to do it now. I need the money tonight. So he goes in to do it, to break into the safe. Needless to say, there is somebody else in the house. The collector is there. The black masked wielding collector. He is there at night getting the, as he does, he collects the people. He's getting them, and anyone who tries to escape, he has elaborate traps set throughout the house for, various things, whether it's they go to pick up the phone to try to make a phone call and a spike comes out and gets them in the ear. There's bear traps on the ground that someone falls into. This explosion and spikes come out of a wall and someone sticks to it. It has some really inventive traps. And in my mind, I'm like, how long did the collector stake out this house, slowly setting these traps throughout the house in order to go through this night? It made for a great movie. I absolutely loved it. It has some great kills. It doesn't hold back on the blood. The way the film is shot, it's very kind of grimy, dirty. Think of like Terrifier, kind of the original Terrifier, that is, where it's just kind of like I want to say almost like a 16 millimeter graininess, but it's a little more muted colors, if that makes sense. I love the soundtrack in this as you go on. There's one scene in it. I don't remember the name of the song, but it starts playing, and it's playing as this trap and this kill are being set up. And it fits the scene perfectly. And I was like, oh man, this is pretty brilliant. And I don't want to, dig too much further into kills, traps, stuff like that, because I want you to see it if you haven't. It kind of looks like the mask that Tiny in A House of a Thousand Corpses wears. It looks very handmade, and the collector has some really cool eyes that are very reflective, almost like a predator. Like if you saw a lion at night or something like that, like The Shine, which I like that touch to it, where it's like, this is a predator hunting these people through this house. Our main character, Arkin, played by Josh Stewart, he gets thrown through the ringer, and a lot of crap happens to him, and he's just trying to get out and get through this because he wants to get this money to get to his wife for his child. It is one heck of a night for him. Obviously, it's left open for a sequel, which we got the sequel, and which I didn't see first was this one, which was kind of an odd way. But anyway, so overall, The Collector, this is a movie, if you have never, ever seen The Collector, you absolutely need to see it. It is essential, especially if we're going to be getting the third one soon. This one's very contained in a house. The next one, The Collection, is bigger. You can tell it was a bigger budget, bigger area, bigger kills, everything else, especially an opening kill in that movie. But yeah, go watch The Collector on Tubi, and then you're going to want to watch The Collection, which unfortunately is not on Tubi. So you're going to have to seek that one out. All right, with my new Tales from Tubi, just like I did last week, I want to pair a double feature, a good double feature. I mean, obviously, the obvious double feature would be The Collector, The Collection, but they're not both on Tubi. It has to be a movie that is on Tubi. Last week, I did pair The Collector with Fender Bender, which I think works, but if you're going to watch The Collector only or watch The Collector first, I thought of a really good movie, and what's funny is Tubi recommended it to me, and I was like, ooh, Tubi, you got this. This is a good double feature that I think people should definitely watch if they're watching The Collector and watch with it, and that is The Midnight Meat Train, starring Bradley Cooper and Vinnie Jones, because The Midnight Meat Train is very much like The Collector. It's kind of dark, it's kind of grimy, and it does not hold back one bit on violence. So I think The Collector and Midnight Meat Train this week would make a good double feature. And at the rate I'm going, am I just going to talk about Midnight Meat Train next week? I don't know. We'll see. Probably not. I'm going to recommend it for you to watch. But anyway, that is The Collector. Pair it with Midnight Meat Train or pair it with Fender Bender from last week. Either way. On my way out, I want to tell you about Academy Award nominee for Best Original Screenplay. September 5 is now on digital. Based on true events at the 1972 Olympics and the hostage crisis that changed media coverage forever. Starring Peter Sarsgaard, John Magaro, Ben Chaplin, and Leonie Benesch. Buy or rent September 5 on Fandango at Home now from Paramount Pictures. Just like my previous one, if you want a digital copy for September 5, just email me, oldmanbradpodcast@gmail.com, and I will shoot you over one. I have a few available, and they are first come, first serve, but just hit me up, and I will send one your way. So that will do it for another episode of Tales from Tubi. Just make sure you subscribe to the show so you never miss any of these episodes I do over here or any of the regular Old Man Brad episodes. My planned next episode is for Heart Eyes, which comes out this week, the week that this episode drops. And I plan on having my wife come on the show. We're going to go see it together and talk about Heart Eyes. Just make sure you keep it right here as I continue to search the depths of Tubi to find those great horror films. I will talk to you later, everybody. We'll see ya.